There are melodies that have never been written, yet they echo across dimensions. There are rhythms that seem to pulse with something ancient, something otherworldly, as if they are not merely heard, but remembered by the soul. Have you ever listened to a piece of music so haunting, so strange, that it felt like the air itself was shifting? As though the room around you began to breathe in a language you couldn't quite understand? This is no mere metaphor. In nearly every ancient tradition, from the Vedic hymns of India to the shamanic drumming of Siberia, music has been regarded as a bridge, a sacred conduit between worlds. Not just entertainment, not just emotional expression, but a technology of the spirit. And within this hidden art lies a powerful secret. Certain sounds, tones, and frequencies can open doorways to higher dimensions. They can attract specific entities, amplify intention, and alter the very fabric of your spiritual atmosphere. Some heal, some protect, others summon. In this video, we will journey deep into this esoteric terrain. We'll explore the forgotten science of sacred sound, uncover how music functions as an invisible architecture of consciousness, and reveal why certain melodies have the power to invite divine beings or disturb sleeping forces best left untouched. We'll explore ancient instruments said to call forth celestial intelligences, the mathematics of harmony used by mystics to map the cosmos, and the chilling accounts of those who encountered something beyond the veil through sound. This is not about mainstream music theory. This is about the hidden geometry of vibration, the occult anatomy of harmonics, and how the right sound at the right time can pierce the veil between worlds. Are you ready to tune your soul to the frequencies that connect this realm to the next? Then stay with me, because once you understand the hidden link between music and the spirit realm, you'll never hear the world the same way again. Since the dawn of civilization, music has been more than an art. It has been a ritual tool, a spiritual technology, and in many cultures, a language of the gods. In the temples of ancient Egypt, priests played specific tonal chants during sacred rites, believing that sound could align the human soul with Ma'at, the divine order of the universe. The tones weren't arbitrary. They were believed to mirror the frequencies of celestial bodies, the harmonics of the divine architecture itself. The Greeks, too, understood this mystery. Pythagoras, often remembered for his mathematical theorems, was first and foremost a mystic of sound. He taught that music was a key to understanding the cosmos, a reflection of what he called the music of the spheres. This wasn't poetic metaphor. Pythagoras claimed that the planets and stars emitted a form of sacred music based on their orbits, inaudible to the ordinary ear, but deeply influential on the human psyche. His followers practiced what they called musical healing, using specific intervals and scales to restore harmony to the body and spirit. To them, illness was a dissonance in the soul's song. Across the world, in India, this idea took root as Nada yoga, the yoga of sound. Ancient yogis believed that the universe itself was created through vibration, with the primordial sound Om as its first pulse. They taught that through mantras, sacred sound syllables, one could raise their consciousness and resonate with higher planes of existence. These weren't just chants. They were vibrational keys to open energetic gates within the subtle body and beyond. Indigenous shamans, from the Americas to the steppes of Central Asia, used drums and flutes not merely for performance, but as instruments of soul travel. The rhythmic repetition was designed to shift consciousness, induce trance, and facilitate contact with spirits, ancestors, and elemental beings. Every beat was a footstep in the invisible world. In medieval Europe, mystics like Hildegard of Bingen composed music she claimed was dictated by angels. Her ethereal chants were said to bring healing and visions to those who heard them. Later, during the Renaissance, occultists like Marsilio Ficino blended music with astrology, believing certain scales corresponded to planetary forces and could summon their influence. From the alchemists of Prague to the tantric adepts of the Himalayas, the consensus was clear: music is not passive. It is active, It vibrates the spiritual matrix, awakening energies that lie dormant within and around us. Yet with power comes peril. These ancient traditions also warned, just as harmonious tones could attract benevolent spirits and divine insight, discordant or misused sound could invite chaotic forces, spirits of confusion, deception, and disintegration. To summon with sound is to speak a language not meant for idle tongues. And so we find ourselves standing at the threshold of mystery, guided by the echoes of our ancestors. Those who knew that to understand music was to understand the soul's architecture, and perhaps even to rewrite its destiny. In the next section, we'll begin to decode the mechanics of this hidden connection, how music functions not just emotionally, but spiritually, and how its architecture mirrors the metaphysical realms it can awaken. To understand the spiritual effects of music, we must start with a foundational principle found across nearly every mystical tradition. Everything is vibration. Modern science affirms this through quantum physics. Atoms, particles, even solid matter is nothing more than oscillating energy. But the ancients already knew this. To them, vibration was not just physical, it was spiritual essence. The world wasn't built from bricks and mortar, but from waves and resonance. Music, therefore, is the art of shaping the vibrational field. And when crafted with intention, it becomes a portal between dimensions. Imagine a tuning fork. When struck, it vibrates at a specific frequency and can cause another fork nearby, if tuned to the same pitch, to begin vibrating in resonance. This is called sympathetic vibration, and it forms the basis for understanding how sound moves energy, not just physically but psychically. Now, consider this: your consciousness is like an instrument capable of being tuned. Certain sounds, scales, and rhythms can shift your inner frequency, awakening dormant perceptions, or altering your emotional and energetic state. These internal changes don't occur in a vacuum. They ripple outward into the subtle energy fields that surround the body, often referred to as the aura, or in ancient terms, the luminous egg. When sound affects these energy layers, it changes how you are perceived by non-physical entities, those beings that dwell in what mystics call the astral, etheric, or causal planes. Just as different musical notes can attract different animals in nature, so too can certain frequencies attract different kinds of spirits. Some tones, especially pure ones created with clarity of intention, act like a lighthouse, drawing benevolent intelligences, guides, devas, ancestral spirits, who are aligned with healing and illumination. Others, chaotic, dissonant, or angry tones, can open doorways to lower astral entities. These are not the monstrous demons of fantasy films, but rather fragments of decayed intention, unresolved human emotion, or parasitic forces drawn to imbalance. Sound becomes a beacon, and whatever matches your vibration will find its way to you. This is why in many ancient traditions, sound and intention were never separated. A chant was not just uttered, it was consecrated. A musician was not merely skilled, they were initiated. Music was seen as a ritual act, where every note was a prayer or invocation. The structure of music also plays a key role. For example, in sacred music traditions like Gregorian chant or Indian classical ragas, the emphasis is placed on natural harmonic ratios, intervals that reflect the golden mean, the Fibonacci sequence, and other sacred geometries found in nature. These harmonics are not only pleasant to the ear, they resonate with the hidden architecture of creation itself, and when played, they activate spiritual alignments both within the listener and the surrounding energetic field. Even rhythm plays a mystical role. A heartbeat-like pulse can anchor the soul in the body, while repetitive drum patterns, as used by shamans, can loosen the grip of the physical senses, allowing the consciousness to shift into other dimensions. These rhythmic patterns essentially recode the brain's electrical activity, enabling altered states where spirit contact becomes not only possible, but natural. But there's more. The emotional charge behind the music is the carrier wave. Two pieces of music may have the same tempo or key, but one, born from love, devotion, or awe, can elevate the listener's frequency, while the other, driven by rage or despair, can darken the aura. In this light, music is not just sound. It is intention wrapped in frequency, emotion encoded in vibration, and energy shaped into form. We now begin to see the blueprint. In the next section, we will go deeper, exploring how specific types of music can influence spiritual openings, protect or expose your energy field, and even bind you to certain astral forces, sometimes without you ever knowing it. We now venture into subtler waters, where music ceases to be merely an experience and becomes an active participant in the spiritual ecosystem. For just as a key can open a door, it can also lock it. Just as a beacon can call allies, it can also summon watchers in the dark. Let us begin with a critical truth. Not all music is neutral. Some pieces, whether composed with conscious intent or born from collective emotional energies, carry an embedded frequency signature. This signature acts like a spiritual code. When played or heard, it synchronizes with your subtle energy field and can, without your conscious awareness, initiate a contractual resonance. This is not metaphorical. In the esoteric traditions of the East and the West, it is believed that entities, particularly those dwelling in the lower astral or emotional planes, can ride the wave of sound. When you consistently expose your energy body to chaotic, violent, or despairing music, you are unconsciously building a resonance that creates entry points for these non-physical forces. These forces may not be evil in the theatrical sense, but they are hungry, fragmented, and often drawn to specific emotional tones. Sorrow, rage, addiction, despair, lust. Some traditions call them thought forms, others call them larvae, egregores, or even shadow echoes, but all agree on one thing. Repeated exposure to discordant or emotionally distorted sound creates energetic pathways through which these entities can influence behavior, drain vitality, or distort perception. This is not always immediate or dramatic. More often, it is slow and subtle, a soft rewiring of your inner compass, a dimming of the inner light, a clouding of dreams. On the other hand, when sacred sound is used with intention, especially music tuned to harmonic frequencies, embedded with sacred geometry, and guided by conscious breath, it doesn't just prevent intrusion. It fortifies the auric shield. It realigns the chakras. It harmonizes the meridians and even expands the field of perception, allowing contact with spiritual guides, ancestral wisdom, or cosmic archetypes. Take the ancient use of mantra in the Vedic tradition. The repetition of specific seed sounds called bija mantras was believed to unlock spiritual faculties, purify karma, and open subtle gateways to the higher realms. These weren't merely prayers. They were vibrational formulas, each syllable a specific harmonic blueprint designed to influence both inner and outer dimensions. The Egyptian mystery schools taught that tonal magic was one of the highest forms of creation. The gods themselves were said to speak in overtones, the language of pure vibration, and initiates would train for decades to learn how to sing or chant specific notes that could activate temples, open dimensional doorways, or even restructure matter. And among indigenous shamans, songs were medicine. Each spirit had its own song. Each illness had its countertone. The spirit realm wasn't distant, it was audible. A sonic landscape teeming with voices, waiting for those who knew how to listen. Now consider modern music. Much of what is consumed today is composed without spiritual intent and is instead infused with commercial, emotional, or psychological triggers. Certain production techniques, repetitive beats, artificial tuning, and dissonant layering may unintentionally or even intentionally replicate frequency patterns that lower consciousness. When repeated, this programming becomes entrainment, the gradual synchronization of your inner rhythm to an external frequency that may not serve your highest good. This does not mean all modern music is harmful, but it does mean that conscious listening is no longer optional, it is essential. The question is not simply, do I like this song? But What is this song doing to my field? Music can inspire, liberate, and awaken, but it can also bind, distract, and diminish. It is both a mirror and a spell, a ritual we participate in with every note we allow into our system. You are the instrument. The vibrations you choose to harmonize with become the architecture of your energy field, and ultimately the doorway through which the spirit world responds. Next, we turn toward practical application. How can you use this knowledge in daily life? How do you choose music wisely, protect your field, and perhaps even create your own spiritual soundscape? Now that we understand music's power not only as art but as a spiritual instrument, the question becomes, how can we use it wisely? How do we transform casual listening into a conscious ritual, a bridge to higher states of being? Let us begin with the foundation, intention. The first step is to shift from passive consumption to intentional listening. Before you press play, pause and ask yourself, what do I want this sound to do? Do you seek healing, clarity, protection, elevation, or emotional release? This moment of mindfulness changes everything. The same track, when played without purpose, may drift through you like wind, but with conscious focus, it becomes a living force, weaving its pattern into your soul. Now consider your listening environment. Sacred music, by its nature, responds to ritual space. Light a candle, burn incense, or simply take a few breaths to center your energy. Even a 5-minute listening session can become an invocation if approached with reverence. You can also begin a practice of tonal cleansing, the energetic equivalent of spiritual bathing. Select music tuned to 432 Hz, 528 Hz, or other healing frequencies. These tones harmonize with the natural geometry of life and can dissolve energetic knots in your aura. Let them wash through your energy field. You may feel subtle tingles, emotional shifts, or spontaneous visions as blockages begin to release. Mantras and chanting are among the most powerful tools you can use. Begin with simple bija mantras like Om, primordial unity, Ram, solar power, or Shreem, abundance and flow. Speak or chant them aloud, or even listen to well-rendered recordings with focused attention. The repetition of these sounds creates an energetic resonance within the chakras, aligning you with ancient currents of spiritual power. But beware, not all spiritual music is truly elevating. Many tracks marketed as high frequency are sonically sterile or emotionally flat. Use your intuition. If a song feels cold, agitating, or emotionally manipulative, it likely carries energetic noise, even if its label says otherwise. Trust how your energy responds, not how the title sounds. To deepen your connection with sound, try toning, the practice of releasing elongated vowel sounds from your body, allowing your own frequency to emerge. This is a direct form of vibrational alignment. Begin by placing your hand over your heart or solar plexus, breathing slowly, and allowing your voice to resonate outward. You are not performing, you are tuning. Now let us not forget the power of silence. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the container of all vibration. After a musical ritual or meditation, give yourself space to sit in stillness. This allows your field to integrate the new frequencies and to detect subtle shifts that may go unnoticed amid noise. And finally, create your own sound temple. This may be a playlist, a personal recording, an instrument, or a corner of your home where sacred sound can echo without distraction. Over time, this becomes an energetic anchor, a vibrational sanctuary to which your spirit instinctively returns for nourishment. A few daily suggestions. Morning. Begin your day with a short sound bath or mantra. Let music set your vibrational baseline for the day. Before sleep, use calming, harmonic frequencies to seal your energy field before entering the dream realm. During spiritual practice, whether journaling, meditating, or divining, use music to deepen focus and attune with higher realms. When feeling drained, use rhythm-based drumming, shamanic sounds, or deep toning to clear stagnation and recalibrate your core. Remember, You are a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. Every sound you allow into your space is a form of agreement, a co-creation. Choose wisely, listen deeply, use music not merely as background, but as a bridge, a sword, and a sanctuary. We have wandered today through hidden corridors, where vibrations shape spirit, and where sound is not merely art, but architecture for the unseen. Music, long misunderstood as mere entertainment, is in truth one of the ancient languages of the cosmos, capable of awakening, invoking, protecting, and even transforming the soul. In forgotten temples and cave sanctuaries, music was once sacred technology, and though modern culture has drowned it in distraction and noise, its true power remains, waiting for those who remember to listen with the soul, not the ear. We have explored how frequencies can attract specific energies, how tonal structures mirror metaphysical patterns, and how intention is the wand that shapes a song into a spell. We've touched the edge of a great mystery, that every chant, every hum, every whispered note carries the possibility of opening a doorway to the other world. This isn't just poetic metaphor. It is practice. It is path. And now the path is yours to walk. Will you use music as a passive background or as a conscious ritual? Will you let sound carry you downward into numbness or upward into spiritual clarity? You do not need to be a composer or musician. You only need presence, quiet mind, a discerning heart, and the willingness to let your soul resonate with truth. So as you go forth, ask yourself, what are you truly tuning into? Because every sound you embrace is a summons, an offering, a key, and the right sound will unlock the sacred doors that words alone can never reach. If this message stirred something ancient within you, then perhaps it is time to reclaim your place among those who know that the universe sings and the soul remembers the tune. Subscribe and walk deeper into the mysteries with us. Let us know in the comments, have you ever felt the spirit world respond through music?